Today I've got a listener question for you. The question is, what skills should a beginner shooter focus on first? Well, I'll just drop it now. Plot twist. It's still the stuff that I primarily focus on, but I think your ability and your understanding of it will get better over the years. If there's two things a beginner shooter should work on, it is grip and vision. Both of them are simple, just not easy. So let's talk about vision first. Vision is extremely important. Sometimes I think people, how about this as a statement? As you get better at shooting, I think you'll get more and more of an understanding for how important it is and how much it plays into what you do. For example, this past weekend, I taught a class, and at the kind of the final drill of the class, I set up a scrambler kind of drill, kind of a USPSA-ish test where there's some a bunch of variety of targets, and I put a colored cone by the target, and that colored cone would be somewhere on the range, simulating a shooting area. So what you're going to do is you run to the cone. When you get to that cone, so let's say there's blue, then you'll look at the targets, and there'll be two or three targets that have a blue cone on them. So it's, even though you could see everything, it wouldn't make sense. In the USPSA stage, you just stand there and shoot all the targets. But for this, for the spirit of the drill, so to speak, you'd run to the blue cone, and you'd have time ahead to look at it, of course, but you'd shoot the targets that are blue. Then maybe you run forward, the next cone's red, and there's a couple targets that you could shoot on the move, or just that kind of thing. So anyway, talking through this, I could still, like, I visualized it up. I could still walk through, like, the demo I did. But vision guides so much of that stuff. Forget the shooting part for a second. What happens? So I'm staring laser focused at the first target I want to hit. So I draw the pistol, and it comes up. Once it gets to the eye line, I wait, regardless of how I feel or how long my perception that it takes, until the sight touches my eye line. Once I saw the red of my dot come to where I was looking, then I shot the target. After that, I looked low and left to a cone. The cone was yellow, so I ran there, maximum attack. Once I started to get close to the yellow cone, I then looked up. There was going to be a close target that was 6 yards away, 7 yards. So I looked up. I was finding the center of that target where I wanted to drive bullets. Had the gun mounted. By the time I got close to the cone, or just kind of settling, the gun was already at eye level. I'd already picked out a spot on that target, shot that target. Then I looked back into the left. There's a partial target. I picked out basically the part on that partial target I wanted to shoot, which was more or less kind of the center of what was available, scoring brown, to stay away from the no shoot. So I hit that. To the left of that, there was an open target. I hit that. Then after that, I dismounted the gun, looked at the spot I wanted to run, ran my guts out to the left, had to round a vision barrier running forward. And there was a couple targets to shoot on the move. I chose the left one first. Anyway, I keep going into the details, but all this stuff is just based on vision. I'm snapping my eyes from target to target, looking at the things I want to do. If I'm doing gun handling, vision plays a huge part, because I look at the spot I want to hit on the target. Then when I want to do a mag change, I look down at the mag well until the magazine's kind of almost seated or getting started, and I look back at the target where I want to drive the bullets to. The important part with vision is that it's easy to sometimes do things you don't want for it to do. So the example I just gave with a little scrambler drill, if I'm trying to be laser focused on the target I want to hit, but when I start to draw the pistol and my sight starts coming up to eye line, it'd be easy to shift my focus down and watch the sight as it comes up to eye level, to then find it accidentally went past the target. Maybe it went over the top. Maybe I started tracking the dot, looking at somewhere I didn't mean to look at. The next thing you know, my bullets went at the wrong spot on the target. Then when I shift down into the left, looking at the yellow cone, maybe I was really worried about where the target was going to be, and instead I was looking out for the yellow target first to my left, but not down at the cone where I wanted to run. So I didn't really run in the direct spot exactly. I was kind of just shuffling my feet while I found the target. Then I looked down at the cone. Then I could look back up at the target. So it'd be inefficient, time wasted. Maybe then after I looked down at the cone, I was scrambling for time, trying to look up and find where the target's going to be. And then I just accidentally looked at the whole brown target because I was in a hurry. I was already feeling like I was behind. So I just brought the gun up to eye level and started spraying bullets. They didn't go in the middle necessarily, but they'd be somewhere on brown. Then I'd be looking, oh yeah, I got to go that way. So anyway, uh, I'll move on to another example, but you understand how important your vision is for the target transition marksman piece. Like on the draw, we're doing the fishing or the bowling thing, where you're like the escalator, whatever this thing is, bringing the sight up towards eye line. It's really tempting to look down and get fixated on it and bring it up to your eye level. Or if you have a draw method that's going to go up over the target and you're going to see your dot drop in, I suppose, it'd be really easy to stare at your sight also. Then once your vision gets attached to it, probably bad things happen from a marksmanship perspective. Another one would be in target transitions, moving the gun from target to target. Starts to get pretty close, then I shift my vision over, I watch the dot, and then I try to coast the dot the last little bit into the target, which will be an imprecise target transition. Those are all things, just explaining it to you, it's like, oh, yeah, okay, I don't want to do that. But when you're actually shooting live ammo, running your guts out on the range, actually practicing, whether dry or live, it's super easy to accidentally do those things that you don't want to do. Another vision thing is just being target focused. You want to laser focus on the spot you want the bullets to go, but when you have your sight bouncing up and down like this while you're rapid firing, it's really easy to the next thing you know, you're watching your sight bounce up and down or climbing up on the target. Dang it, I meant to keep looking at the target where the bullets are going. So just the vision piece is something, as a new shooter, it's super important to be target focused, not front sight focused or dot focused. But it's really tough to do. It's something that people are always working at. Me, I'm always just trying to improve my ability to, I'll catch myself once in a while staring at my front sight or at my dot. And, it irritates me because it's not something I want to do. So just continuously working towards not doing that. The grip part is the other part that will constantly be a work in progress, regardless of how good you are, whether you're national champion level person or just getting started in shooting. The broad stroke of what you want to have happen is grip the pistol in a way that is repeatable and it stays put in your hands. So when you're shooting, you don't want the gun to be, well, this so happens I have a gun next to me. But while you're shooting, you don't want the gun to be moving around inside your hands. So for example, if I kind of loosen my grip and it starts to shift a little bit, you don't want that. Or two-handed shooting, have the gun recoil so much that it kind of separates from the top of my index finger of my support hand. I don't want to have it recoil like that. So what I want to have when I'm shooting is just it all stays together in kind of one package, and I don't feel like my hands are slipping off the gun, or maybe it's slipping forward and I have to kind of reposition my hands periodically. So just gripping the pistol in a way that I can press the trigger quickly and independently without getting sympathetic movement or having the rest of my fingers move while I'm doing it will be tough enough. Trying to hold the same grip the whole time will be tough enough, the pressures. And then when you want to fire the shot, not clamping down or pushing into the gun in any way, trying to stop the gun from recoiling, whether it's because you know the gun's going to be kicking or you see the dot lifting, you're thinking like, nope, stop it from doing that. And you start trying to push into the sight from stopping to recoil. So anyway, that's the skills a beginner shooter should be focusing on first. A couple easy drills to do this. Speaking to the grip part, one I really like is called Trigger Control at Speed. I think I've got it on YouTube somewhere else, but the video or the drill is just with your sights on target. You could do it a couple different ways with your finger just touching the trigger, so barely making contact, out of contact, not touching the trigger at all, or all the way in the front of the trigger guard. So from that starting position with the proper grip, reacting to a random start signal from either a mobile app on your phone, or if you have a timer, I'd recommend doing that. And as soon as you hear the B part, just the beep just getting started, the goal is to mash through the trigger and break the shot without having your sight move at all. On the range, you could do this a little bit dry, then load up and do it with live ammo on the range just to see it. Try it 7, 10, 15 yards. See if you can smash through the trigger and have one, live bullet go exactly where you're looking. In dry fire, obviously the keyword dry, You're not using live ammunition at all in your house, but you could be assessing how does the sight move at all. Is it perfect? Does it like it just blips to the left a little bit every time you do that, or you saw it go up or down a little bit, and working to eliminate any of those issues. When you shoot on the range, you're going to observe the bullets probably going somewhere you don't want them to go. Then it's important when you recreate that in dry fire that you're recreating that issue, and at least initially, seeing the dot blip that same way that you saw the bullets go. That's good because that means you're dry firing properly and you're recreating the issues that you saw to combat that. As far as the other beginner skill that I think just the vision stuff, you could do just target transitions in dry fire. So what that means is you just draw the gun with the proper grip. You laser focus on, you can use light switches and stuff like that, but I'd really prefer, if you have a choice, getting dry fire targets. There's a bunch of different places online that sells them. I get mine from Ben Steger Pro Shop. Shameless plug. They're cheap. It's a whole package of them is, well, just so happens I just so happen to have some here. But they're just these little cardboard targets. And a whole package of these is like 5, 10, 15 bucks. There's different scale, size, whatever. But for 10 bucks, it'd give you a lifetime supply of them. So if you're doing practical shooting, it makes more sense to have targets like what you're going to see in practice or competition. But anyway, so you set up those in depth if you have the option, not just right next to each other in your dry fire area, wherever that would be. Obviously no ammunition present, and you could do this without even pressing the trigger. So just looking at a spot on the target, assessing how your sight goes there, look at the next target, assess how your sights go, and just look, and it would just be your eyes go first, sight shows up, and it's just look, look, look. And as you look, you're just assessing, does the sight go exactly to where you're looking? Did it go a little bit past? Much to your eternal shame, you accidentally started staring at the sight. You noticed that halfway through, you were just watching the sight move and you weren't actually looking at the spot on the targets. So that'd be something you'd want to work at, either by doing trying occlusion, or maybe you turn your dot brightness down. But there's a bunch of different ways you can work on that at home. And as you get better at shooting, your ability to do that will get better. But man, at my level, for whatever that means, grip and vision are the two things that I really still focus on highly. Your vision's going to drive where your feet lead you to, a gun manipulation, or where you're going to drive bullets in the target. Your grip is just the ability to hold on to the pistol and shoot it without having it shift in your hands or you doing any extra input to it, just your ability to shoot the gun as straight as possible. So anyway, that's the two skills I think a beginner shooter should focus on. And as you get better at shooting, you're just going to keep getting at it because, well, who am I kidding? This is a journey without a destination, but it's a fun one, and it's well worth it. If it was easy, everyone would do it. But hopefully that answers the question, gives you some stuff to think about, take to your practice. If you have any questions, drop them below. I try my best to read through the comments. If it's an easy one, I'll just answer it in the comments. If it's a more complicated answer, then I'll just make a video like this one. So I appreciate you watching, and have a good day.